Good morning. It is 8:45 a.m. on Saturday, December 26th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, a couple of things to report on yesterday. One is that Rocket's Christmas present proved to be a bit of a miscalculation. I got him what was called a butcher's block bone as a special treat, which was essentially just like a bone with a bunch of sort of like little, fat and kind of marrow and stuff, and still kind of on it. And it was one of those that was kind of there in the dog treats section. But something that I expected him to gnaw on for a while, he just devoured very quickly, like it was just going through a wood chipper, just like, meow. But that was a little bit concerning, but I've been watching him, and we had a little bit of barfed up kibble and a couple of unpleasant poops. But I think, we're we're through the worst of that. I'm not worried. I'm paying attention, but not worried. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of a lesson learned there. Um, he is much more of a chewer than Luna ever was, and so I kind of have to pay more attention to some of that stuff than I did with her. That he will, he's not, his body is not used to that stuff. So I don't think it's like, it wasn't dangerous so much as it's a little bit like if I gave you, I baked you a chocolate cake for your birthday, and you ate the whole cake in one sitting at 8 a.m. and then tried to just eat your normal diet for the rest of the day. It's like, yeah, well, your digestive system might not enjoy that. Anyway, it's fine. He is, snoozing down by my chair as we speak. Um, Also, yesterday I watched Soul, Pixar's new movie, and Wonder Woman 1984. Micro reviews of the two of those. I'll try to avoid spoilers. Soul, I feel like is pretty good. It's got some stuff in it that I really, really resonated with. I feel like I might have a couple of faint reservations that there's just a few places where it feels a little bit like I can see the seams from some rewrites, that just like a couple of places where it feels like the story must have changed. They lifted out whatever would have come there before and they've put something else there instead. It's, I can't put my finger on it, and I might even be wrong about it, but just a few places where, like, I don't know, like I'm not sure that 100% worked for me, but it has some very, very good stuff as well. So I highly recommend it. But I think, you know, some of my favorite recent Pixar movies are Coco and Inside Out. But I think it's, maybe not quite as good as those, or at least for me was not quite as effective. But certainly it's Pixar quality, right? So even if we're saying it's not one of my new favorite Pixar movies, it's still very good. Wonder Woman 1984 is fun. It's not. It didn't blow me away, but I had a good time watching it. It has some definite weird calls in it too that might also come from like rewrites or just weird like studio decisions, who knows. But overall those things didn't bother me too much. I had a good time. I liked it. And I think a lot of other people did too, although it's I was spotting on Twitter that there was a fair number of people that just seemed to really hate it. And I mean, that's, everyone obviously is entitled to their own opinion. I don't want to judge anyone if this movie just didn't work for them. I totally get it. There was a few reviews where they were just totally trashing it, and what it reminded me of is just how there are people who just like to have hot takes about popular movies, where what they do is they say, well, this doesn't work for me personally, so what I'm going to do is take the most uncharitable view possible about every point. And I'm going to decide that I know what the movie's about and it's a bad thing to be about. And I'm going to ignore any parts of the movie that contradict that and just full forge on ahead with this point, even though, like, I don't think it's actually supported by the text. But at the same time, like, if the movie just worked, they wouldn't be in that mindset at all. So I think it's fine. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Is not perfect, but neither do I think it is terrible the way some people are talking about. And also, I think some of the people who are talking about it like it's terrible, like what they're saying about it, I feel like some falls into two categories. One is like, I get that, but it didn't bother me. And B, like, no, that's not what it's about. You're saying, oh, I hated it because it's about X. And I'm like, but it's not, though. It reminds me, actually, of AP English. And it was one of the, in AP English, I had a teacher named Mrs. Mitchell. And she was one of the first to get me to work harder on writing things by giving me a bad grade just on the basis of saying, no, you can do better. And that motivated me to do better. Because I had been pretty, like I just breezed through writing assignments up to that point. But in any event, though, one of the things I also learned in that class was when it comes to literary analysis or in that sort of thing, it's easy to just say, well, it's my opinion and my opinion can't be wrong. And it's like, well, that's not true, though, actually, because if your opinion is not supported by the evidence and you can't back it up with citations from the text, then yeah, you're just making stuff up and it's wrong. So you can be mistaken, but that doesn't mean that you should get a good grade on your literary analysis because it suggests you didn't understand what you read very well. In any case, I don't want to be too dismissive of the people who really didn't like it. That's a very subjective thing, but I think some of the things that those people are saying about it, like when you don't like something, sometimes you're not always good at explaining why, and so you grasp at things to try to justify how you felt, and some of those things might make no sense to anyone else. Anyway, where was I? Okay, I guess that covers it. I think the last thing I'll just mention is that I finally got to the ending of the main campaign for Witcher 3, and although I had some issues with how overlong that game is, boy, I really liked it in the end. Geralt's a great character. I got the quote unquote good ending, which, I think there's a couple of those endings that seem like, it could have hinged on you making one reasonable decision instead of a different reasonable decision and implying that that's good versus bad. But, I liked it. All right, I'm going to leave it there for now, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.